What made you so angry with your child's teacher you went full Karen on them? Last Tuesday, my daughter was supposed to be getting presented her first place science fair award for a project she spent 2 months on, but with 20 minutes left until school started, she was still in her room. I went in to check on her and saw her in bed under the covers trembling. When I pulled them back, she was shaking with tears, the kind that kids cry only when they're more scared than sad. Please don't make me go, Mom. I don't want to go. I just hugged her and told her she could stay home, not wanting to cry. I held her until she literally ran out of tears, and it's only then that she told me what happened. Yesterday, during Mr. Coleman's math class, she felt it. Her first ever period starting. I'd already talked to her about it, so she walked up to his desk quietly and whispered, "Can I please go to the nurse? It's an emergency." But he didn't look up from his computer. We're in the middle of a lesson. Sit down. Mr. Coleman, please, it's a female emergency. That's when he looked up at her, smiled, then stood up and announced to the entire class, "Kim thinks she's special. She wants to leave during my lesson because she has a little tummy ache." 28 kids turned to stare. My daughter's face burned red. She whispered, "Please, I really need to." "You're 11, he said loudly, walking around his desk toward her. "You're too young to have female problems. What's next? You're pregnant?" The class giggled nervously. Some boys laughed harder. "Please," she begged. My proud daughter who gives presentations to the school board begging. "I'll come right back. 2 minutes. Tell you what," he said, now standing right in front of her. "Tell the whole class exactly what your emergency is, and I'll consider it." She stood there, frozen, tears starting. "Go on, we're waiting. What's so important? Say it loud so everyone can hear." She couldn't say it. Not in front of everyone. Not in front of the boys who already teased her. Not in front of her crush. That's what I thought. SIT, down. And if you interrupt again, it's detention for a week. She waddled back to her seat crying. Minutes after sitting, she felt the blood rushing immediately. She raised her hand again, trying her best not to cry. "Mr. Coleman, that's detention. Want to make it 2 weeks?" She went quiet and put her head down. 10 minutes later, she felt it soaking through to her jeans. Soon, she could feel the blood pooling beneath her. The girl behind her whispered, "What's that smell?" And my daughter started crying. She waited until the end of class, another 15 minutes. By the time the bell rang and she stood up, the blood was everywhere. On the plastic chair, down her legs, a dark red map of humiliation. "Oh my God!" someone screamed. "That's what happens when you don't know how to control yourself," Mr. Coleman said aloud for someone to hear. "She pooped her pants," someone yelled. "No, I didn't," my daughter yelled back, but it was too late. Her classmates already had their phones out. They started taking pictures, recording her. "This is gonna go so viral," they were saying. My daughter ran out, leaving bloody footprints down the hallway. The students followed her and stayed outside the bathroom, banging on the door and taunting her. They only left when recess ended and they had to go to class. When she finished telling me the story, I sat there shaking. My brilliant daughter was now terrified to exist in her own body. "Mom, please don't talk to anyone about it." I told her I wouldn't, said I was just driving to pick her up some ice cream. But in reality, I went to her school, still in my pajama pants, carrying her blood-stained jeans I found in her drawer. I stormed into the principal's office and without warning said, "Mr. Coleman forced my daughter to sit in her menstrual blood for 40 minutes yesterday." But Mrs. Davidson sighed like I was wasting her time. Maybe if Kim spent less time at home and more time with other girls, she'd know how to handle these situations. My eyes went wide. She begged him to let her go to the nurse. "Your daughter has a pattern of attention seeking. She cries over test scores and constantly raises her hand in class." Now this dramatic story. I was starting to see red. "Here are her bloody clothes." I dropped the jeans on her desk. She wouldn't even touch them. "Ma'am, you helicopter parents are why your children are so fragile. Why not let Kim problem solve?" The problem is she bled through her clothes in front of everyone and students took videos of her. I was now yelling. That's when she shot back. "You know what Mr. Coleman told me? That Kim's been flirting with boys in his class. Maybe this was her way of getting their attention. Preteen girls can be very manipulative." She stood up, smoothing her skirt. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have awards to present." I followed her out and walked with her down the hall, into the gymnasium packed with hundreds of parents for the science fair awards. My daughter's empty chair sat on stage between the other winners. I stayed by the door as Mrs. Davidson walked to the podium and started adjusting the microphone. That's when I made my move. I walked straight at her toward the mic. Security tried to restrain me, but I ran by them and snatched the microphone. Other parents were looking on, not knowing what to do. I finally yelled into the mic, "My daughter won first place, but she's too embarrassed to be here because yesterday Mr. Coleman made her sit in her own menstrual blood for 40 minutes." The entire auditorium froze. Mrs. Davidson reached for the mic. "Security," she hissed, but I wasn't done. Full story on channel linked below.